joke, I've been a money maker. I've been a record breaker, taking credit as an educator. I've been known to spit the flows and make it shaky, shaky thing. Popping, locking, stopping, let it hang. Watch us as we drop this hip hop, it's like it stings. We make the whole room drop and everybody sing. We want the funk. We gotta have that funk. We kick it old school. We think we're so cool. We take it back to the past. We gonna act a fool. Up jumps the middle finger. Make my Jaeger just.
Hello, hello, hello. Welcome to Sports Buzz, a Fanatical View. I am your host, Scott D. Lewis, here live in studio, Comcast Cable, Channel 23, downtown Danbury, Connecticut, on this February 8th, as we thaw out after that snow turned to freezing rain ice-capade yesterday where everything was frozen. My driveway, nobody wants to walk on that driveway right now. Holy cow, that thing's a sheet of ice still. Sunny at least today, temperatures near 30, so a lot of stuff did melt, but I'm sure it's refreezing as we speak. I think it's going to be up near 50 though this weekend, so hopefully whatever's still frozen by then will be gone. I'd much rather deal with snow than ice. Ice is not nice. What's it like to be frozen? We are here until 7 o'clock as we recover from a wild and woolly Super Bowl Sunday. What a game that was as far as excitement goes. We have recovered, but 203-792-4101 is the number if you want to call, ask us what, or give us your thoughts, ask us questions about the games, ask us what we thought about the game. 203-792-4101. Maybe one week I'll just start just repeating the number and then not saying anything until somebody calls. 203-792-4101.
If we actually get somebody to call in, it would be that.
It was the Super Bowl. People give a call. Let us hear your thoughts.
Yeah.
My right-hand man, Mr. Bob Broad Jr. is here. His show. Let's say hello, actually. How you doing there, Bob?
I'm fine. I enjoyed it.
You did predict the Eagles. You told me you were sticking with your NFC brethren, even though they are a division rival.
Yes.
Going with the Eagles. So you were happy about the result?
Yes. There was some questionable plays. We'll get into that later.
Yeah. We'll go over some of that stuff. But, everybody had to be happy. This is the one thing I always say to all the haters of the Patriots. How much drama do they provide for the viewers? All these games are like instant classics and just thrilling, down to the wire, nail-biting events. They provide entertainment, people, and that's what it's about a lot of times. Bob Show Spotlight on Tuesday nights at 9, Wednesdays at 12. Anything of note on the show?
Nothing.
All right, we'll just tune in and see what he's got. Mike Toohey, the director extraordinaire, is here. His show Expose Cinema, Friday nights at 9, Wednesdays at 1. Mike was in and out a little bit, starting to struggle again to get, he broke free of that old schedule of his, and it's been a struggle for him to get into the studio to do shows. We get in here when we can, but I'm sure he's putting shows out anyways. He sets them up from home, I know, if he can't come into the studio and talk. But his show, Expose Cinema, Friday nights at 9, Wednesdays at 1. Again, 203-792-4101 if you want to call and talk sports, Super Bowl, or otherwise. Maybe you want to talk about the Bruins pounding, making it look easy in the Garden last night, the Rangers.
Do we really have to talk about that?
Oh, we'll get to that, because we got to talk about the Patriots, but I'd rather talk about the Bruins and the way they're rolling right now. Hottest team in the NHL. Super Bowl LII. Eagles 41, Patriots 33. And hold on a second. I think the Eagles just scored again. There was no defense whatsoever in this game, Bob. So it can't go down as like a total classic of a football game, because you have to have some defense involved.
Right.
But these teams were just moving the ball at will. Eagles with their first ever Super Bowl championship. Third time was the charm for them. We remember 1980. We remember 2005. The last time they actually won a championship was before the Super Bowl era, so that was 1960. They won the NFL championship then, but this is their first Super Bowl. Fans went nuts, of course, tearing Philadelphia down. They had the parade there today. Wonder if anybody got out of there alive. As we heard reports, if you were listening to sports radio this morning, the free beer that was offered up to
they were saying
revelers.
Coming in, I was listening to Fan, and they were going, it's 3 hours backed up on coming.
3 hours backed up on the highway filled with people that were at a parade drinking all day.
Yeah.
Yeah. Let's hope there were some designated drivers involved. So, yeah, I mean, of course, go crazy, folks. You just won the Super Bowl, and that they did. Philadelphia is at least consistent with their insanity. We know they're going to be crazy, and they were. But the Eagles got it done. Nicky Foles, 28 of 43, 373 yards, 3 touchdowns. He did have the one kind of fluky interception, and he even recorded a receiving touchdown on a crucial 4th down play right before the half. And that came after the play where we saw Tom Brady drop a pass. Brady went 28 for 48. 505 yards, most ever in a playoff game, passing yards, 3 touchdowns, no interception. Did have the one fumble late on the only sack of the game. Neither team could get to the quarterback, but the Eagles finally got to Brady late, caused the fumble when it looked like the Patriots were going to get ready to come down and take the lead again. But they get the fumble. They get the recovery, set them up for a field goal to make it an 8-point game, and the Patriots didn't have enough time. They did line up for that Hail Mary, which bounced around up in the end zone there. Looked for a second like one of the Patriot players was going to dive in and catch it off the deflection, but not to be. They would have needed a 2-point conversion after that as well. But amazing numbers. The teams combined for a record in any football game ever, not just playoffs or Super Bowl, 1,151 yards. Unbelievable, Bob.
I know.
That is incredible. Patriots were over 600 yards in total offense. Their running game was not bad. They did a lot of damage through the air, obviously, with the 500-plus yards from Brady, and a lot of their running back yardage came on screens, but they did have close to 100 yards rushing as well, actually over 100 yards rushing combined. So they were doing it in all ways, and the Eagles really spread it around on their offensive end. Their running game was great with Blunt, who had that big powerhouse run for a touchdown, about a 28-yard run. Ajayi had some runs as well. The receiving core, Jeffrey with the unbelievable catch at the beginning of the game to start things off. Ertz, the tight end, was amazing. He came up with play after play, including, we'll get to it, is it controversial or not, the touchdown that put them ahead late after the Patriots had taken the lead. The one guy who really, went nuts and was, their third running back, but he did a lot of damage out of the backfield, and he did so against the Vikings as well. And I think against the Falcons was the kid Clement, who I think is a rookie, right? He had an unbelievable day, including another possibly questionable touchdown in the game as well. And those plays came on 3rd downs, and that was the thing for the Patriots, Bob. Could not get off the field on 3rd down. The Eagles went 10 of 16 on 3rd down. And then on, so that was 6 times they did, in essence, stop them on 3rd down. A few of those times turned into field goals.
Yes.
2 of those times turned into 4th down conversions. So really, the Patriots only stopped them. And during the game late, I heard the Eagles scored on 8 of 10 possessions, including their last 5. I know of the interception. I honestly can't recall the other time that we stopped them at all. I did not think they did. I thought the interception was the only time we got them off the field. So they scored basically at every possession. There was only 1 punt in the game, which meant there was less punts in the game than there were passes to quarterbacks.
Right.
How about that for a crazy stat? Where's Strange Man when you need him on that one? 1 punt in the game, 2 passes to quarterbacks. Outrageous. So the 2 4th down plays, crucial. After the Patriots went for a trickeration, holleration, stupid nation. Come on. Tom Brady has been recovering from a hand injury for the last 2 weeks through the whole playoffs, right? He's 40 years old as well. He is in great shape, and he's actually seemed more limber in his last couple of years with his new diet and some of the different things he's doing to stretch out his muscles and all this. But still, Bob, why, when you're moving the ball at will, and you've got Tom Brady as your quarterback, and you got a 3rd and 5 in field goal range, do you go ahead and run a trick play to him coming out of the backfield, with a pitch and a pass back and an Amendola throwing a lob?
That was very questionable why they did that in the first place.
Ridiculous decision by Josh McDaniels, and we'll get to him and his coaching decision and him coming or going, should he stay or not. But why they ran that play was ridiculous. Just line up and get the 5 yards. Brady could do anything he wanted against this Eagles defense. Then they skewed the field goal and actually went for and threw long to Gronk and did not complete that. So they gave up 3 points there. Also, the big thing in this game, Bob, as we'll get to the other four. Well, let's stick with that theme right there first since we're on it. So the trick play the Patriots try, the Eagles then put it right in their face. Talk about smacking them in the face. 4th down, right before halftime, they line up and go for it on 4th down, and they run basically the same trick play except for it's out of the Wildcat, and they run it to Foles for the pass, and he catches the touchdown with nobody near him. After the Patriots blew it on their play, they say, we know how to run it, and we're going to do it right here. Now, speaking of controversies, we'll get to the touchdowns later, but 2 controversial plays, both 4th downs, were in essence penalties that could have been called against the Eagles. That was an illegal formation by the Eagles on that play, and the refs did not call it. If you go back and look at the lineup, the wide receiver was not on the line of scrimmage, which made it an illegal formation, and the ref told him he was okay in his spot. You saw him asking him, but he was clearly off the line, and he was not in proper formation. Should have been a penalty, waved that off, which would have had them kick a field goal. They would not have gone for it at 4th and goal from the 6 instead of the 1. So that's a big play right there. But the other thing we talked about for the last 2 weeks, and I talked about it on the show, how big a factor special teams was for the Patriots in the win against the Jaguars. And the special teams did not get the job done at all in this game. Of course, we know about the missed field goal early on a botched snap. And that was brutal to see. I mean, it was not Gostkowski's fault. The holder botched the snap. He couldn't hold it. He got the ball down too late, and he clanked it off the bar. But he had missed an extra point right after that, I believe. The Eagles also missed an extra point, so that was kind of a wash, except for the Eagles started going for 2 points right away. So they were chasing points because they never did convert. It was only other time the Patriots stopped and was twice on 2-point conversions, twice on crucial 3rd downs that the Eagles then went for it on 4th and converted. So, it really didn't matter that much in the end. But special teams also, I talked about how the kicking game was crucial for the Patriots and how they do these things where they pin teams deep. They could never get that done against the Eagles. The Eagles were getting starting position outside, either at the 25 or outside, better than the 25. They never were pinned inside their 20 or their 10. That never happened. The punter was eliminated from the game, obviously, who's a big... who plays great for the Patriots. He was a non-factor. And meanwhile, the Patriots special teams on their kick returns, they were having all sorts of problems. They were getting pinned inside their 20 regularly, so they were starting from longer distance. They also tried that trick play on the kick return after the 4th and goal touchdown before the half. The Patriots had a chance to come down and get a field goal of their own there, but they tried a fake reverse kick return there, and they got pinned inside their own 10-yard line instead of just running a regular return to get out of that.
He was.
And they ran a trick play on 3rd and 1 on, I think it was their first possession of the game, and they ran it to Cooks, who ended up getting concussed on the second possession of the game and knocked out. Second game in a row, they had a key player, offensive weapon, get knocked out by concussion early, and they ran a trick play on that play. I don't know why they were running trick plays at all when they just lined up and did their thing. They could do no wrong. Over 600 yards. So why are you running trick plays? Completely ridiculous. The other thing, Bob, we remember, of course, the Butler did it against the Seahawks.
Right.
But in this game, the Butler did not do it, and he did not do it at all because he did not even get a chance to play. And we have yet to really get to the bottom of this. But the starting cornerback on your team that gave up the fewest amount of points since week 5 played 97% of the steps, more snaps than any other defensive player on the roster.
Right.
Does not play a single down on defense. He did play special teams. You can't tell me that does not hurt.
No.
Because now you got somebody else playing his spot, then you got somebody else playing that guy's spot, then you go depth-wise when you're looking for help because your guys are getting torched left and right and you bring somebody else in and move guys around. You got guys out of position all game long, and they picked on Eric Rowe all day. Row your boat home, Rowe, because you were just getting buried underwater in this game. He couldn't get anything done. That was just crazy. Belichick remains saying that it was a performance-based decision. We know Butler had the flu-like symptoms early in the week, but he was full practice on Friday and late in the week. And again, I've heard some guys memo or paging Bill Simmons, the biggest media head Patriot fan out there. He keeps saying that Butler did not have a good year. I don't care if Butler had a tremendous year, a good year, a great year. He had at least a decent year. He was the starting quarterback on a team that gave up the fewest amount of points in the last 6-7 weeks of the season. So he had to do something right. He did have some spots here and there where he gave up plays. But, I mean, the collateral damage more so than whether or not he was having a great performance-wise year, because now everybody else is out of position. Plus, you played this way all year. And it's kind of like the whole thing with the Red Sox did with Matt Barnes, not putting him on the roster. What about the team morale when you see that?
Oh, yeah.
Your guy, your brother in arm, is crying in tears during the anthem on the sideline because he knows he's not going to play and he can't help the team. So very questionable. All that goes into it. I will say, as far as the Patriots go, they did go down fighting. They never give it up on any of these games. They played from behind all game. They did take the lead that one moment to go up 33-32. You thought they were going to get it. But, you have to knock the champs out. They prove that when they're in these games. And the Eagles, all the credit in the world, they did knock the champs out. They got it done. Their skill players were tremendous. They made every play, all the difficult passes, all the tough catches. They came down with them. All right, Bob, you want to get into some of the controversial catches? Before we talk about the two catches, I'll mention the other fourth down play and the questionable non-call before we go to the catches. So there was a non-call on the 4th and goal that led to the touchdown before half on the illegal formation. And then there was a non-call on the crucial play, 4th and short, from their own 45-yard line down a point with about 6.5-7 minutes left. They decided to go for it. They run a crossing pattern, and it's clearly an offensive screen as the wide receiver from the left side takes out the defender covering the receiver on the right side, clears the path for him to make the catch to convert the first down and keep that drive alive. If they get off the field there, the Patriots are going to score and put this game away, and they're going to win it. Instead, they convert that, and then they go on to get the go-ahead touchdown on what was a controversial catch if you talk about what took place during the season. So how do you feel about these plays, Bob? As a sportsman looking at it, did you think, well, this is kind of what we want? Or did you look at it and say, well, these aren't catches because they haven't been catches all year?
They haven't been catches all year.
Exactly. So they haven't been catches all year. So I think there's been a limited amount of controversy all this because, for one, people don't really like the rule.
Right.
And they would prefer it. But for two, everybody says the Patriots always get the calls.
Right.
And when it's a calls not going for the Patriots and it's somebody else getting them, in essence, nobody really had anything to say about it. It was kind of like brought up, mentioned, there was some discussion about it, but nobody went up in arms because it went against the Patriots instead of the Patriots getting the calls. But, Ertz makes the catch, dives for the goal line, hits the ground, ball comes out with contact. That's not completing the catch according to the rules and according to the way they called it all year.
But according to referees, that's a different story.
But according to the referees, in the Super Bowl.
Right.
Right before the Super Bowl, Roger Goodell came out and said, we're going to look at this call and probably change the rule. So did they change the rule before the Super Bowl?
No.
Instead of letting the rule play out the way it is supposed to, because that's the way it was called all year?
Right.
They didn't do that. They actually did change the call. And the thing with the Clement touchdown, and both these plays, Bob, are on third down, remember, so that would end drives or force them into field goals instead of touchdowns, which changes the score. The Clement play, he catches it in the back of the end zone, has it, shuffles the ball, changes possession of it, doesn't maintain full possession, then goes out of bounds, only 1 foot in bounds. So by the time he actually gained full possession and kept possession, he was out of bounds, not a catch. That's 2 touchdowns on third downs, and then 2 calls on fourth downs where they had no calls. So the Patriots, as this, in the moment during the games, I thought the Eagles were making plays.
Right.
I was with my buddy who's a huge Eagles fan. My other friends who were impartial, just wanted to see a game, were in rare form.
Oh, yeah?
Talk about booze in Philadelphia.
Oh,
there
yeah.
was some booze at this party I was at this weekend. Holy cow.
You mean you didn't throw the helmet at the TV?
I lost that helmet, Bob.
Oh, yeah?
I don't know where that helmet is. All my stuff was getting thrown.
Oh,
I'm
yeah?
lucky the cup from my Shaboozalooza survived.
Oh, yeah?
And I still am hearing the Rocky theme song.
Oh, yeah?
Thankfully, I didn't get to hear much of the audio of the game. Everybody was complaining about Collinsworth. I didn't hear much because my friend was blaring the Rocky theme song throughout the entire game on full blast. But everybody was having a good time. So in the moment, I wasn't really all that bothered by it. But as this week has gone on and I've kind of analyzed it and I've looked at it and I've heard some things and I've checked it out, I'm like, the Patriots got screwed, Bob.
Oh, yeah.
They got totally jobbed in this game, and nobody cares because it's the Patriots, and it was a wild game.
Hey, the Patriots actually scored in the first quarter.
Not a touchdown, though.
No, but they actually scored, though.
Yeah, but they have yet to score a touchdown in the Brady-Belichick era, which is a crazy thing. In 8 Super Bowls, especially when they've scored a decent amount of points in some of these games, and 600 yards total offense.
They never scored a touchdown.
Wow. Unbelievable. What did you think as the game was going on? Did you feel like the Eagles were going to win it? Did you
I was feeling the Eagles were on a mission.
They were on a mission. You got to give the coaches credit.
Yeah.
Also,
look at Nick Foles, backup quarterback.
Yep.
In a Super Bowl. How can you be any better?
Unbelievable performance by him, and he was the MVP. Great run. The coaches had all the confidence in him. He had the reps. He was starting to come into his own. He had experience being successful in the league before. If you remember that season where he started for the Eagles all year, led them to the playoffs at 27 touchdowns, 3 interceptions. He had one game, and I remember specifically because I was at Foxborough on that day with my friend who's an Eagle fan watching the Patriots pound the Steelers, as a matter of fact. And we were getting the score result, and it was the day that I think Foles threw for like 6 touchdowns in a game for the Eagles way back. So he was ready, and the coaches, how about this? Basically 2 backups on the coaching staff. We know about Peterson, the head coach, but Frank Reich, a perennial backup, also anchored the greatest comeback in playoff history with the Bills when Jim Kelly went down against the Oilers that day. He's the quarterback or offensive coordinator, one of the two. So those guys put together a great offensive plan. And if you looked at the Eagles all year, they were really the most dominant team as far as scores went. They blew teams out. They were scoring up in the 30s, high 30s, 40s all year long.
I mean, they were leading division, so
16-3 overall after the Super Bowl victory. So great season by the Eagles. Great job by them. They get it done. I don't know. I think that's all. We covered pretty much everything. I thought going into the game they had a great chance. I knew that they would be aggressive. I knew their coaching staff would definitely give Foles a chance to win it. I thought their weapons would be dangerous for the Patriots defense. I never imagined the Patriots playing as poorly as they did on defense. I do think the Butler thing really made a big factor. Maybe one day we'll come to find out what happened with that. And then how about the coaching changes? So Matt Patricia, the defensive coordinator, goes to the Lions after that debacle. And then Josh McDaniels was supposed to go to the Colts. and
Yeah.
he spurns them at the last minute, changes his mind and says, I'm going to stay with
Right.
the Patriots, which you got to figure is going to line him to take over for Belichick someday if Belichick ever leaves. But that was crazy. And then how about the Colts general manager in his press conference trying to explain, what happened? I don't know. We announced that we had the guy,
Yeah.
and here I am telling you that he's not here.
Yeah.
He says the rivalry is back on. Okay.
Okay.
We'll be waiting for you, Indianapolis. What's the rivalry going to be? We're going to beat you 45-3 in a playoff game, and you're going to cry about deflated footballs again?
Yeah.
Is that where the rivalry's at? Yeah, we'll see about that rivalry being back on for the Colts. Good luck with that. All right.
Was there any commercials that you liked?
Again, Bob, I mean, the volume on the TV was not that loud, and my buddy was playing the theme song all game.
Oh.
I did not hear really much of the commercials from the looks of it. I didn't see much that seemed all that interesting. I heard a couple people talking about there were some okay ones.
Yeah.
But, you know, it didn't really seem like there was much. Also, the halftime show, what did you think of the halftime show? Mediocre, correct?
Mediocre. I mean, if he was going to do a whole thing about Prince, he should have done a whole thing about Prince, but not just one song. It really didn't.
And there we see Timberlake from years past with Janet Jackson. The last time he was on, of course, was the Nipplegate controversy. And I didn't get the X-rated, or I guess R-rated pictures. We got a clean photo to show to commemorate that. But looking at those pictures from the past, Bob, we were talking about it before the show. Why did she have one of those pasties on her nipple if she was never going to expose her breast?
I don't know.
Think about it.
Yeah.
So anyways, Timberlake comes out. I mean, they had him going all over the place. I like it better when they let the guys just go right on one stage, do a regular show,
But
all this medley stuff.
everywhere.
He's running from one part to the other. It's all choreographed dance stuff. And then he did this melodramatic, revamped version of I Will Die For You by Prince. We all know that Prince said that he never wanted a hologram of him anywhere. They did it anyways, kind of. I don't really know what they did. So the halftime show, you know, and I thought NSYNC should have been there. He should have done what Beyonce did with her group, which I can't think of the name of their band right now for some reason, but you know, she had that band come back and it was great. He should have done that with NSYNC. It would have been much better. And then like a full-blown upbeat Prince tribute, because it was in Minneapolis. Of course they had to do that. All right, we ran out of show. We did all Super Bowl.
Yeah.
We'll save the NBA trade deadline to next week. We'll talk about how if the Bruins will ever lose again, or if they're just going to pound teams into submission. We'll see if your Rangers actually win a game. They're in DFL territory, Bob, dead bleeping last in the Metro, but only, Bob, only 3 points out of a wild card. So it seems bleak, losing the last 4 and 7-11 since the Winter Classic. But only 3 points out. Things could change fast.
Are we live next week?
We're live like next week, I do believe. We're going to try to keep this going, get back on track, see if we can keep that up. I hope everybody enjoyed the Super Bowl. We'll be back next week, and we'll get into some other stuff and move on. Thanks for tuning in.